Hello, everybody. Are you here? Can you see me? It's always those first few seconds where you just don't know if it's working. And I think now it's working. Can you guys hear me okay? Let's start there, because one time it was bad and you guys couldn't hear me. You know what I need? I need a theme song, so I could talk over the theme song, and then it's like sound. The sound is good, Stefan says. Stefan, my moderator. Okay, so welcome everybody. There's some new people here today. I'm very excited, especially for the person who has the name like Smell of the Dark or something like this. This was very funny. So yeah, I'm gonna be hanging out with my good friend Chris from Lord of the Lost. And are you guys ready? Should I invite him in? Should I do it? You have to all say yes. Can you all say yes? Do it. Nice shirt. Everyone's saying nice shirt. Hey, I hope Chris asks me about my shirt. I want to talk about it. You guys can tell him to do it if he doesn't. All right. I think I've got him. Hey!
Hey, Joey.
There he is.
That's such a nice shirt. What kind of shirt is that? I just wonder all the time. It's great. Man, tell me about that shirt, please.
It's so funny you should ask, actually.
Yeah. Unexpected.
Well, so I have this. First of all, I'm like in my brain is wired like a drug addict. So like I don't do drugs anymore or anything. But when I go to stores, I buy shit that like it's like
you actually have a brain?
Yeah, somewhat left.
Man.
It's like maybe 35% left. And I go into stores and I see items and I get this kind of rush somewhat similar to I think what cocaine used to do to me. And then I need to own those things. So I buy them. And I have a closet full of things, especially on tour. I do this. You guys have toured in America, yeah?
Yeah, once. We tried twice, but there was like issues with passports and visa because of the Trump. The Trumps up there try to do an example for music industry, like from outside, so they didn't let us in. So, but yeah, once in 2014 we've been there.
Okay. I forgot about that. I wanted to ask you about that. I've wanted to ask you about that for so long. So let me explain my shirt, and then I'm going to ask you all about that.
Yeah.
So on tour, I do this thing where we go into you've been to Walmart. You know Walmart, right?
I mean, you and I did that on tour all over Europe. We went shopping, like buying like bullshit in Amsterdam or whatever.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So in America, there's this place called Walmart, and it has all the bullshit in one place, and you go there in the middle of the night and like. Have all this extra money that I don't spend on drugs anymore, and I buy shit like this, and so I've decided.
We actually, sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
We actually did that back in 2014. In Albuquerque, we went to Walmart at like 2:00 in the night because we were like, for our TV of the Lost thing, our documentary stuff. We wanted to shoot an episode in like Breaking Bad style, and we called it baking bread. So we actually bought like bread dough and stuff and like blue color to color it. We were baking bread in the middle of the night. So
blue
that's what
bread.
We did. Blue bread, of course. Yeah,
because the meth was blue.
Of course.
In Albuquerque, did you go to
in Albuquerque? Yes, we went to Walter White's house, and I stole a stone from like in front of the house, one of these tiny stones.
I went to the house too. The people don't like that you go to the house. People live in the house.
I know.
Did they come outside? They got really angry at me because I threw the pizza on the roof.
Oh, you did that.
I threw the pizza on the roof. That's the best scene. Do you remember the show? Everything is just falling apart, and he's so pissed, and he throws the pizza, and it goes on the roof. I had to throw the pizza.
Of course, I remember. Yeah, and I stole a stone. I have it at home. It's like it's my precious.
Oh yeah, like Lord of the Rings. Wow. Yeah, I love, when I used to get fucked up, I never did, like everyone was always going to do all the cool things like that, and I never did them. So like now after a certain amount of time of being sober, I've gone out of my way to do all those like cool things, and it's like touring for the first, it's like exploring the world for the first time all over again.
And where do you actually have the chart from? Is that from that Clueless movie, or
Yeah. So
because the picture is like inverted? So yeah,
the picture's
oh
inverted because this makes me feel more comfortable to see myself. Like I know if I put my right hand up, that not my left hand will go
yeah,
up.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm actually really disappointed that you brought that up, because whenever that comes up, the people in the chat get really mad at me and they try to beg me to change it, but I'm not doing it. Don't even beg me, people. But yeah, so I have a closet full of these ridiculous clothes that I've never worn, and I've decided today, for the first time, that every time I do one of these, I'm gonna go and wear something I've never worn before that I've collected from tour. So this is the first thing I'm wearing, this Clueless tie-dye sweater. So
That's actually a very girly thing to do. Like, oh, I have to wear something new every time, and I can just wear it once. I like that. You open yourself up to not be too manly all the time. I appreciate that, man. That's good. I like to see you evolve.
thank you. I think it's very important to be in touch with your feminine side.
Of course. Yeah.
And and
I've seen you being in touch with your feminine side on tour a lot of times with your costumes and stuff, and you and I doing makeup with
yeah,
each other. And yeah.
yeah. And actually, what do you remember? What when did we do the makeup together? Was that, how many times have we toured together?
Oh man, we have toured together, like the real big tour with Lord of Lost and Combi Christ in 2016. But before that, you and I have toured together a couple of times, but not with Lord of Lost. I played in an electro band called Unterart, and you were playing with Combi Christ. And we've been on tour together with Hosiko, Rabia Zoda, and all these bands. Like, I don't know, 3-4 times, but before that,
I
in the early days.
I forgot about the Unter Art stuff, dude. I my like I was saying before, my brain's really fucked up from back in the day. Like there's so much stuff that I don't remember, and
Okay, do you wanna know the story how I get to know you and saw you for the first time?
actually, not only do I want to know that story, but also Eugenio, who's here, wants to know that story, because I do have a bunch of questions, and that's one of the questions that he asked. And I
All
usually
right.
like to start with that question because I think it's so cool for people to know how we met.
Yeah.
So you go first.
Yeah. It was on a tour, like Combi Christ being the headliner, and me and my electro band Unterart being support, and it was in Berlin. I forgot the name of the place. It was like a venue below the rails of some kind of train thing
In
in the
Berlin?
middle of in Berlin. Yeah.
Is it Lido?
No, it wasn't Lido. It was like in the middle of the street. You have like the street, like cars go here and there.
I know
And in the middle,
exactly the venue you're talking about.
yeah, in the middle, like Gotham City style, you have the rails up there, and down there is a club. I don't remember the name, and it was in Berlin Kreuzberg, like the place to be.
The cool place.
And it must have been 2007 or 8, and I came in, and you guys were already sound checking, and I just saw you, like Joe Robo Arms Let's. I've seen videos of you before, and you were sitting sideways like always, and you were testing the strobo. They were like, dude, this guy, he's so cool. I need to get to know him. He must be a real nice guy. And then I tried to talk to you all day. You were like ignoring me because we were just a support band. And I hated you so much. And on the next day, you were like, "Hey, Chris," you kind of instantly loved me, and I was like very confused. But that was how I got to know you. I was like, "Oh, I loved you so much that you didn't even see me." I was so hurt.
It's so funny. It's so funny that I love stories like this. I don't know if you guys ever went through. I feel like, and when you start doing this stuff when you're younger, you go through all like the trials and tribulations of just being an asshole in a million different ways before you get old enough and humble and figure out like what you should and should not do. And one of my biggest lessons ever, because we did a bunch of tours where we were treated poorly as support bands, you know? And then, so then it's like kind of ingrained on you that like when a new band comes into the fold of like your world, they have to prove themselves to you before like they're cool in your eyes, and like you're kind of standoffish at first, right? So, what changed that for me was actually touring with Rammstein, because they're the most massive band in the world, and they were the coolest people ever. And they didn't need us on tour at all. The tour was sold out completely before they added us, and we were so stressed that it was they like the management going through all the management things that they do, and you know, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, and we're like, this sucks. We're already being treated shitty, and we get there on first day, and all the band guys come up, and they're like, whatever you need, here's our lighting guy, here's our whatever, and we're like, whoa, and it really put perspective on like how you treat people, and that was made such an impression on me, and so I'm sorry. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to apologize to you for that. I'm sorry.
Man, you don't have to. You know, it's like, because I learned something on that day as well, because I recognized that I would be you in different situations with other bands. And afterwards, after the years afterwards, again and again, it's always like, sometimes not because I want to ignore people. Sometimes I'm really just in the zone, or I'm working. And the problem is I have this kind of resting male bitch face, you know. I don't look friendly when I'm relaxed. I look like that. That's my happy face, you know. So when I enter the room, people go like, oh, there's the arrogant German guy coming, and I'm really trying to be friendly. So I know what you're dealing with, and I did that. So I just really want to apologize to maybe many musicians out there doing the same thing. It's like, and also I have learned, you know, when you talk about Rammstein, it's like what I have experienced when I met some of the very, very big guys up there. There's only two types of people. There's either like what you just told me about Rammstein, or like total assholes, and nothing in between. So I was like, one day I just decided for me, I do not want to be an asshole, because growing as a band means that like more people looking up to you, and also on the other hand, more people hating you. So I was like, I want to be a good example for kids and other bands to look up to. Yes. And I don't want to be one of the, if I might get up there on top, whatever that means, I don't want to be one of the assholes. That's not me.
Yes. I'm with you, man. I love that. I remember this one defining moment in like our kind of starting to really get to know one another, when we were passing through playing shows together here and there. And I remember this one tour, and it really is what made me start really paying attention to you. And we would go through these like periods where, have you ever experienced this where, and as a band, I feel like you're either like this or you're not like this. So I'm not saying anything bad about anyone that is like this, but there's a lot of people out there who like get almost resentful of like the songs that they feel they have to play every night because they get sick of that song, or like something that's expected of them and they just don't want to do it anymore. And I get it, right? But I come from the school of, and maybe I didn't always, but like I'm a firm believer in like, you know, you need to give people what they want. I think as an artist, you know, if you're playing a song like, you know, last night I was watching the Korn live stream, Monumental. They just did it yesterday. They probably did it a month ago, and they just aired it yesterday. And my girlfriend, and they were playing a song, like an older song. And she goes to me, don't you think they get sick of playing this song every night? Like, how did they like get into that? And I said to her, I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, I think there's a big part of being this successful as an artist where you not only know that you have to play those songs, but you figure out how to get into those songs and sell that and become that song, like from back in the day when you wrote the song. Like, you need to know how to embody that stuff. Like, that's a part of being the artist, and to continue to perpetuate these songs and its messages that resonate with people to this day, you know? And then there's a lot of people that are just like, I don't want to fucking play that song anymore because fuck everyone else, you know? And my point in being with you was we were going through this time when we didn't want to do makeup anymore. I feel like any band that's like doing this sort of thing goes through a period where they're like, I don't want to do that. Like Kiss did it, you know? It was like, oh, we're going to do no makeup. And I
Big
remember...
Success.
What's that?
Big success with Kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember we were doing the no makeup thing, and I knew that we shouldn't be doing it. So I was kind of like going along with it for a while, but then I started bitching about it. And I was like, people want to see the makeup, man. People want to see us doing fucking weird shit and being different and like being wacky, you know? Like that's, you know? And we played a show, and you guys came on to go on stage right before us, and you guys had all your makeup on, and I remember, like, you know, and no offense, but the vibe was like, oh, look at these guys in their makeup, because it was like, we're not doing the makeup anymore. But this moment changed in me, and I was like, everyone here is wrong. These guys know what they're doing, and they're doing it good, and they're paying attention to what their audience wants, and they're really good at it. And like on that, and that's the moment where I started really like paying attention to what you guys were doing. And I've become so inspired by your success and the ride that you're on, and all your vision is just like uncompromising, but also all encompassing. Like you are like, okay, there's social media. How can I do this the best possible way that it can be done so that I can spread my message as much as possible? And like, I'm just sucking your dick, man. I just think you're awesome. I think you're awesome. So
I haven't have my dick sucked in a long time, so that felt really good. So thank you for that. But as this no makeup thing, was it that open air festival in Cologne in Germany, Amphi Festival, where you guys afterwards then decided to go on stage in animal costumes because you wanted to do like the opposite of the makeup thing? Because I remember the one festival, it might have been before, and you were like, we had the whole makeup thing, and then after our show we went to see Combi Christ, and you just came in like animal onesies.
Yeah, we did that, but that was not that night. This night, okay. I remember because it's funny at this point back in the day, I think I was sober for about a year, and but this was like a long time ago. I'd since become not sober, and actually this night was a night.
I know that must be 2015 something. Yeah,
and it was a smaller festival. It was like an indoor thing. And
yeah, you were indoor. We were outdoor. You were indoor. Yeah.
Maybe no, not at Amphi. Yeah. It wasn't Amphi.
All right, it was, okay.
No, it was like some smaller festival. And I remember this day because on this day, we had Manu, who is one of the main techs for Rammstein. He was teching for us. And I told him, I was like, yo, man, tonight I'm going to get drunk. I don't want anyone in my band to know. So just me and you are going to stay behind at the bus. And we're going to hang out with these girls. And we invited these girls on the bus. No one in my band, everyone was in hotels. And I started drinking. And we had these girls on the bus, right? And the one girl goes in the bathroom. And then I went, you know, on the bus, what the rule is. You don't shit on the bus. And then I go in to the bathroom right after her, and it's like full, like the toilet is full of shit, and I panicked, and I'm like, how do you tell this? Dude. Like, how do you go and me and Manu are the only people on the bus, and I'm just thinking, how do I fucking handle this right now? And I go and I whisper to Manu, and he's just like, he's such a trooper, and he's like, I will figure this out, and he goes in there and like put a bag on his hand and sorted it out. But that was that.
Oh, dude.
Oh, it was in Leipzig. It was in Leipzig. I wonder if it was Wave Gothic.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we went to the Brown Flower or whatever the fuck that was called after. That's where I drank.
Dark Flower, yeah.
But you know what a brown flower is, though, right?
No, I don't.
The brown flower. It's like the chocolate starfish.
All right, that's a brown flower. No. I just, you know, I'm German. I just had to figure out the chocolate starfish thing for a long time, because when this album actually got out, I was like, yeah, chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water. What? I didn't give a shit. And then years later, like many years later, if you learn English in school, you know, it's not the words you learn. You learn these kind of words on tour for people like you.
Yeah.
right now. So that's a brown flower. Okay, I got it.
I get a kick out of like. Do you like Tool?
Uh, Not everything. I'm like totally the Tool and Nima kind of time back then. I love
Mhm.
to listen to that back then, and it's something I put on if I want to hear something interesting. But it's not music I put up to feel good. It's something to listen to, to focus.
Yeah.
So I like it, but it's not like relaxing kind of music to me.
Well, it's like very serious, and like they take the music writing so seriously. But then Maynard comes in and writes these lyrics that are very fucking weird and tongue in cheek about like fisting and fucking weird shit,
Yeah.
and no one and it's like everyone just overlooked that back in the 90s and the 2000s when it was coming out. Just like, oh, this is just a great song. Let's put it on MTV. And then you go back now and let's like there's some gnarly subject matter in there. So. Speaking of which, do you guys remember? Oh wait, actually, hold on a second. Do you guys remember when this was? Oh fuck, a couple of years ago, we were doing this like this stage photo off. Do you remember this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we did that with Aesthetic Perfection and Lord of Lost, like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, three. Yeah.
So I don't know if I ever talked to you about this. Like you guys were on tour at the same time as us, and
Yeah, so we tried to have the most extreme. I think you guys were touring with Lindemann.
no,
And
this
we had
was
our
way
own
before
tour or
that.
some-
This was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh fuck, who were we on tour with? Yeah, I think this was like my first tour that I actually did with Aesthetic Perfection in Europe, and it was
Yeah,
just a
might
headline
be.
run. And I was watching you guys on tour, and I was like, I want to fucking tour with them so bad. And I just was thinking of any way that I could like be involved in your life. I have like such a band crush on you, on your band. And I was like, every day I was like, we're gonna tour with them one day. I know it. And then we started
Yeah,
doing
we
these
did.
pictures.
Yeah.
How? Go ahead.
I thought these pictures were after that too. But do you have the same thing? Like trying to remember all these tours, it becomes like one big memory. So it's so hard to differ things.
Yes, but I have this weird thing where I can remember, like, I'll walk into a backstage in Hungary and be like, I was here 13 years ago and I ate a weird sausage for lunch. I remember shit like that. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But then, like, wait, hold on one second. What we got here? Hold on. Who's this? Oh, look who it is.
Hey,
Oh, look who it
man.
is. Daniel had some pressing questions about a couple of photos, so I wanted to bring him in here. So, like, what did you want to know about this photo, Daniel? You wanted to know who had the stinkier butt.
Yes, that's correct. That is exactly what I was hoping to get to the bottom of today. Literally to the bottom of. You know what I mean?
Chris, listen, like,
That's so funny, man. That's so funny.
not only are your guys' faces in each other's asses, but
Yeah.
these are clothes that you're not washing for a whole tour, probably, and also you just played a show. So for those out there that don't understand what we call that in the industry, it's called gig butt, so also AKA swamp ass. So take us through this photo. How was this?
Seriously, I can't really remember. I don't see myself there. Am I actually on it? Because on the left side, that's our bass player Klaas. Then there's our drummer Nick. Then there's Jared, and then and you know what? This picture was taken way after our European tour because we didn't have Nick as a drummer back then. This picture is from 2019 or 2018.
Who was
So-
in the
and-
band
and-
then?
Back then on our European tour,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
like whose
the-
face am I not seeing right now? Actually, you know what? I know how we can figure this out.
yeah.
Oh shit, where'd Daniel go? I just got to add him here. There we go. Oh, now you're over
There
there,
he is.
Daniel. So now, this is another question Daniel had, was he wanted to know who has the bigger penis. Dan's mad.
There's actually only one guy that has a penis in the band because the other ones are so small. We do not call them a penis. And before that interview, you told me like you wouldn't like ask questions that make me feel uncomfortable, and now I'm like on the verge of crying because like it really makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's airing right now live, and Daniel's listening. I had a date with Daniel for like writing music together like in a couple of days, and we had to cancel it because of Corona. And now I'm so happy that we had to cancel it because I feel so uncomfortable right now.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, he keeps getting kicked out of this thing, so he's not here anymore. So fuck him. So
Yeah.
so I did. I did want to talk to you with him about touring with you, because I thought it would be so cool for our fans to watch, like
Yeah.
us all talking about.
We were, you and I were actually planning on touring together, like Aesthetic Perfection and Lord of Lust for years now, and we were always like short before like actually doing it. Then things happen, release plans, and then Corona, and then blah blah blah. But I'm so sure we're gonna do that because, man, when I tell people about touring, this 2016 tour with Combi Cries and Lord of Lust for me was one of the best things ever.
That was one of the best tours for you,
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, maybe not quality-wise, and because there was so much chaos and stuff, but the memories from back then
I want to
were
talk
so
all,
intense.
let's talk all about this tour. This is a monumental tour for me, and for a million different reasons. And I don't know if you remember, but so this is the tour. This was it, right? This was it.
Can you? I can't really read it. Can you make it bigger, like the dates? Oh yeah, that's Hamburg, Erfurt, Munich. What is that? Oh, that's something in France. Pagny.
Didn't you guys actually do a date in the beginning without us with Filter, and it was at that place under the railroad we were just talking about?
Nope.
No?
That might be Rabia Zorda doing a show with them, but we did not do a date with Filter without you.
Okay.
The first date we did was Hamburg, because I know this place where we played is like just steps away from where I live.
Where you live, right?
So I had to go there like for the first show for 4 weeks Europe tour. I just had to walk there like for 1 minute.
Well,
so I remember.
A lot of people don't know, like they see a tour that's announced, and they don't know like the insanity that went into planning this tour, and like how crazy it is to go over the budgets and make negotiations so it's going to work for everyone and everything. And you actually turned me on to something that I've done ever since this tour. With every band that I've toured with, you've taught me that it's appropriate to negotiate everything in the sauna. And this is, it makes so much sense, because you, like you said, when you're in the sauna together, you have nothing to hide, right? So usually you'll notice that people aren't so shady, and people are honest with one another, because they really can't, it's such a vulnerable moment in the sauna. And this is actually the moment. Like we just signed the paper. We both signed the contract, and this is us looking like, I think you were looking at Jan, and I was looking at Richard Patrick because he was there as well. Yeah, and we were like,
I remember. I remember this picture very well, because it was the time of my life where I started to listen to people that always told me that, hey Chris, you're so gay, maybe you should try it with men. And I was like, I gave into that. I was like, yeah, I'll be trying. So I met this very cute guy, and we got together and stuff. So it was my boyfriend from back then taking that picture, but it didn't, after the picture, because you posted it and people saw it, and he got very jealous about the comments. So he broke up with me. So this picture actually is a very sad memory to me. And,
I'm sorry.
But I remember, and it's No, it's fine. It's many years ago, and I'm totally fine. We're friends now, and always the positive things remain. And thank you for bringing that up because it really means a lot to me. I love it.
Well, look, I mean, this. I feel like this was the moment when our relationship kind of like, of course, took it like it stepped to the next level, and we continued our bond on tour. We would regularly shower together after shows, clean the makeup off of one another.
Yeah.
This is going to be on YouTube, so of course I had to censor this, but I will post the uncensored photo on my Patreon for those who would like it.
That's one hot sausage, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if Jared was here, I'd ask him what he would have to say about this. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, buddy? Do you remember that moment? Okay, I'm done. I did all my photos. Okay, hold on. Yeah, dude, let's talk about this tour. So seriously, this tour, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. It was an awesome tour. It was difficult in a lot of ways. It was great in a lot of ways. I mean, what was your biggest takeaway from that tour?
There's many things I cannot tell in public because I have learned things there which I'd really love to tell, but I can't tell them without pissing people off. So I can't. But I must say, once again on this tour, I learned how important teamwork is, because it was like being on tour with these three bands, which come from so many, the different origins. You have Filter, a band which has been like super big in the end of the 90s. Then you have like a band like Combichrist, which for me always was like the palace of mayhem. And then you have us German guys being like super strict with stuff, and we're like, okay, from now on until in 2 hours we're gonna totally freak out, and then we stop. That's how we are, like we party with a plan. Those bands come together. So, and we had to find a way to kind of make this work, because there were like places where like, I don't know, only 30 people showed up and others were like super successful. So there were like many weak moments on the tour, like shows being canceled. And
did we have shows canceled?
Yeah, we had. There was like, we were going to Finland, and we were supposed to play in Turku, and this show was canceled one night before the fucking club closed. So we were like just hanging out there and went to that karaoke bar in the middle of the night. So what I learned from this tour was like how important teamwork is, and being like finding a way to working together as friends, as brothers. And this is what we did. I mean, there were like exceptions. Some people until the very end didn't really find their way to get in the team, but the major part of the crew and the bands were like just one, and that was super important to me.
Yeah, I love that. I agree. Even the situations that you're talking about with the people and the situations, I just said that that were seeming disastrous at the time and like not melting with other people, like they wound up being really influential on me moving forward from that tour as well. And like those experiences, like for example, do you know that last day of that tour was the last day I ever drank?
Yes, of course. We talked about that a lot, but you never told me, and that it's really interesting for me. What was like the final trigger that made you decide you're gonna change something for good? What happened to make you decide that?
I would love to tell the story if you want to hear it. It's intense.
Yes, please.
So first of all, that tour was a big deal for me. I was a huge Filter fan as a kid, and we toured with Filter on a tour before that, and I became friends with those guys and Richard. The Filter is really Richard, and he's always having different people come in and out. But we were very well bonded with all of his lineup at the time, and Richard is someone who Richard is someone who I see has a might have a harder time to fit in with certain situations because he's coming from such a massive fucking career, right? So I really really loved bonding with him and getting to know him, but he's also sober, and on that tour, you know, he would make it a point to come up to me every now and again and check on me, and I thought that was nice, you know, but I was also a disaster, and I was like not listening to him. And at the very end of the tour, what happened was it was the London show, was the last show, and it was just before we just got to the venue, and I remember it was one of those shows where we had to get off the bus, and you remember it was like, get off the bus and take your stuff, and that's it, and you're like so stressed out, you have everything, and then like I remember I took all my shit and I like went into the club and like face planted in the corner and tried to sleep. And then Richard got into an argument with our tour manager, Jess, and she was upset. And I stood up and I like inserted myself into the altercation. And I was like, don't fucking yell. Ugh. And Richard turned around and he was like, you drunk piece of shit, sit down. You're fucking gross. Go drink some more. And I was just like hearing him like say that to me fucking fucked with me, man. I can't even explain to you how much that fucked with me. And it didn't even like, I remember shaking and like walking away, and like it didn't really set in till a couple of days after that. But you know, I also had I had my girlfriend on the tour with me at the time who I did some shitty stuff too, and she found out about it, and you know, I was honest with her about it, and I was just a fucking piece of shit, man. I really was a piece of shit. And then like I flew home and I expected to get like several many $1,000s for my tour pay, and I only got like $500 because I had advanced like $15,000, spending it on bullshit, like I don't know what, and I was just like, and then my girlfriend's devastated. I got like no money. I have my father. I'm just like, what the fuck is my life? And then really the perspective, I'll bring it back to the Richard Patrick thing. You know, I really started thinking about all the opportunities that I've had in my career and in my life, and like how much I'd been taking it for granted because I just was pissing it away and partying through it all. And like, here I am with someone that was an idol to me as a kid, that I'm touring with now as a colleague. And this is the example that I'm making of myself. You know what I mean? And it really fucking sunk in. And I was like, I just need to get my shit together. This is it. I always said to myself that I would get sober by the time I was 40, because I considered that if I was still doing cocaine then, that I might have a heart attack. For some reason, that was the magic age. But I was like 35 or 36, and I just went with it, and I've been sober ever since. So that's kind of the story.
That's really, really, really great. That's really. How old are you now?
40.
40. Yeah.
How old are you?
Little young. I'm 41.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a little older.
When's your birthday?
Yeah. 22nd of January.
It's always, the singers are always in January. What is it?
I don't know. Maybe it's like, ask your parents. If you would have been a singer, they've just fucked a little earlier. I don't know.
I think my parents made some sweet love on Valentine's Day because I was born about 9 months after that.
All right.
You ever do the math on that one? What is it for January?
Oh, I really didn't. Damn it. I really didn't.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yes, I have an older sister, 6 years older. Yeah.
Does she come to your shows? Yeah, I have an older brother who's 8 years older.
Yeah. She comes to my shows sometimes, but she's like more. She's that kind of person like, ooh, Chris, it's so crazy what you're doing, and with all the makeup and the music, it's so hard. You're so hard. It's so crazy. Woo! And then she comes and brings a girlfriend with her, like getting away from home and the husband and the kid and stuff, and like, oh no, we get drunk with the backstage, and then she starts like, I don't know, flirting with my colleagues and other bands, and I'm like, oh dude. So it's very cute. She's super beautiful, and she's like she's now 46 years now or something. she's like the 100% MILF material, being backstage, being awkward with other musicians, getting super drunk with Prosecco, you know, like, like I love her, but when she's around the backstage, I'm not her brother.
I love when like my friends and family members come and like and just get caught up in that stuff. It's like I live vicariously through them. I really love it.
It's a little like, you know, my parents, they are so much more into it because they grew up with all that stuff, and so they kind of evolved with me. And my father, he's now 80 years old. My mother is 77. And there's two things I want to tell. One is, shortly before I moved out, the music I was listening to at home was mainly like Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile, Marilyn Manson, Mechanical Animals, some Cradle of Filth stuff, Rammstein, all that stuff. So I was listening to that like very loud all the time. Then I moved out. I moved in with my first girlfriend, or it wasn't my first, whatever it was, so some girlfriend. The first thing my mother did was like, "It's so quiet in the house now. I want to listen to your music. What's that kind of music? Can you tell me?" So I told her, and she was going to go and buy all these CDs and listen to them. And she still does. Like when she's doing like housework and she misses me, then she puts on these old Marilyn Manson Nine Inch Nails things and listens to it. And the second thing I want to tell, over the years, because of they always ask me, and she wants to know like how to call this kind of genre, what kind of music, and try to understand all these. And then it's always so funny when she's like, "Yeah, you know, I went out with the dog, and there were like people coming to me and asking me about the hard rock band of my son." And I'm like, "That's not hard rock, AC/DC. That is hard rock. What they do is more like some kind of mixture of industrial and gothic, but not the goth from the 80s. You know, it's more like a more progressive kind of thing." I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck? She's 77 years old and trying
Good for
to
her.
explain people what kind of music we're doing." I don't even know what kind of genre it is. I think my mother has figured it out. So
I love that. My mom is really sweet, and she like does some really embarrassing things that I look back on and I think they're so sweet. Like she'll be she'll be at the mall and I'll get a call from her and she'll be like, "Joey, hold on, someone wants to talk to you." And then I'll be like on the phone and they'll be like, "Hi," like some girl or something, and like, "Yeah, I met your mom in the mall and she's telling me about you." And like my mom will see like a girl with a mohawk and be like, and then she'll call me later and she'll be like, "Yeah, well, I saw this girl with a mohawk and I thought she must know Joey's band." So she goes up and she's like, "Did you ever hear of Combi Christ?" And like they're like, "Well, maybe." And they're like, "Yeah, you want to talk to my son?" And oh my God, this one time, I'll never forget this one time. This was the best. You know that video game Rock Band?
No.
You know Guitar Hero?
I know that. Yeah. Oh, now I know. Yeah. Of course. Now I know.
So I was on here. Actually, I should pull it up and just show it real quick so that there's like a picture to go along with it for everybody. So hold on. So I'm gonna have to resize it. Okay, so you see that? So that's me on the drums, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's me. And so while this was out, I was like on a billboard in Times Square above MTV, and like, you know, all the Best Buy and all these stores had like Saturn kind of stores and stuff. They had, you know, all the displays and stuff. And I went to Best Buy with my mom and dad this one time, and I wasn't thinking about it. And we walk in and I see the big display, and I'm like, and my mom got all excited, and I'm like, "Mom, please don't say anything to anyone."
Yeah. Oh, I know where this is going.
And she's like, "Okay, I won't." And I'm like going off and doing my thing. And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, "Can you come over here, Joey?" And she's got like 10 of the employees lined up at the thing, and she's like, "There he is." And they're all just like, "Wow." And I was so embarrassed. But it was so sweet. It's so sweet that she's proud of me because, you know, I gave her hell growing up, and now I'm finally like, what I always did is paying off and making me money. So they're like, whoa, they're pretty relieved.
No, it's the same thing with my parents. Like, my parents are like, hey, do you want to go? It's Sunday, take a walk at the river in Hamburg or something. I was like, yeah, and do you want to guys pick me up when we go there? So they come with their car, and I wait in front of my house together with my son or something, just waiting. I live in St. Pauli, you know, that place with all the funny lights and stuff. So we stand there.
All the hookers. All right, go on.
Yeah, of course. So we're there, and then like from afar you hear like very loud music out of a car, and then I realized, okay, it's Lord of Loss. And then my parents come in, like driving really slowly, and I live near that street, like with all these tranny hookers, and they're like out of the car, like driving by, like, yeah, you know. And I'm like, oh, dude, face palming, and then they stop, and my mother gets out, and like looks to the people, like, that's the music of my son. Here, go.
Yeah.
Oh. And then she wants me to listen to it in the car, very loud, and yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah,
does she go to your shows too?
Totally, yeah. So I love it when they come. It's like they always like, do you really want us to come because we're so old and maybe it's embarrassing for you? I'm like, no, sometimes you're funny, and I tell you, and she's even gonna see this year, so it's not a secret. But I'm so proud of having them there, because I had bandmates with parents which didn't support the career of their kids, and they were so depressed about that. One band member of one of my bands back then even left the band because they had so much pressure from the parents. And so it's the best thing that can happen. They love to come to the shows, and I love them being so interested in everything. Okay, sometimes it's overboarding, of course, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, I've been embarrassing to them so many times, so it's just fair if they pay me back. You know?
Yeah. Let's talk about like that whole idea of doing, like, you know, doing. I feel like most people that are in our career line of work is experiencing this from their parents and loved ones at some point, where, you know, it's the idea is that it's just a pipe dream. Like, how are you going to base your whole life on this? Like, what's your backup plan? And they're really focused on you having some sort of a fallback. And I always was like, you know, if I spend any energy on a backup plan, then I'm not going to put all the energy I need to put into to get where I want to go, you know. But it's so hard for so many people, like, because of that type of pressure. And I just see so many people, they get to the point where they just did everything they thought they were supposed to do, and then they're just old and they didn't get to do any of the cool stuff that they wanted to try, and that's so sad. I can't imagine.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when, like, I don't know the English word for it, but when you this kind of meeting where you're meeting all your old classmates from school,
reunion,
is their name
yeah.
for it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, reunion, yeah. Sometimes I go there and I'm like, who are all these old and sad people?
Mm-hmm. You look younger than them.
Yeah, it's like, woo, it maybe just not. It's just, you know, the kind of attitude they put on and the look in their faces. Some of them, they look so sad and so frustrated, so old. Maybe not from the outside, but everything they express.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, you know, sometimes life have been hard on me with like struggling as a musician and stuff, but I always fought for like doing the things that I love, and always did everything for that. So I was always living the dream. If it wasn't like for being a musician, it was for living the adventure of becoming a musician.
Exactly.
So, and this is actually success for me. Sometimes people come up to me like, hey, Chris, what do you think if you have success in the future? I'm like, dude, what do you mean? Like, if you have success, I came here, look of what I have achieved. This is not overnight success. This is like working hard for like 20 years, doing this stuff all my life. If you don't call that success, what is success then for you? Like, for some people, success is only like if you're like at the level of Rammstein, which is like the tip of the iceberg of the iceberg of the iceberg. You know, some people don't get it. And for me, I mean, actually, I say not the way is the aim. You know, all this, the aim is the aim. But in this case, I must say the adventure of becoming a musician is part of the process, and it's
Yeah.
so important to me, and I love that. I still love that adventure.
Yeah,
It never stopped.
you have to fall in love with the adventure. I love that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. If you
But
don't
I have a question. Like, I don't know if you want to answer that, but talking about parents and being embarrassing and stuff, when you have embarrassed your parents and you were talking about all the things with being high and drugs and stuff, what did your parents actually say about that?
you mean when I was doing it or when I was like older and I was like, "Hey, I got my shit together."
I don't know, both. It's like, how did they deal with that? Because if just imagine your kid,
Mhm.
or I think your son is like 2 or 3 years older than mine, and if you just like think about if the same thing happens to him, or I think about the thing with my son, it would make me helpless and sad, and I wouldn't know how to deal with that. So of
Yeah.
course I would try the best way to figure it out, but for now, seeing the whole thing through the like the point of view of being a parent, I look different at my parents
Yeah. I know.
of doing
I
this stuff to them.
I the first time that I ever got sober was when I was 19 years old, and one of the first revelations that I had in my brain was what a piece of shit I was to my parents and like how much hell I put them through. And this was a, I think I stayed I shouldn't say sober. I just wasn't drinking, and I wasn't really doing too much work on myself, but I wasn't drinking for maybe 3 years at the time. But I remember my main goal became to just try and be a better person so my parents don't have to worry about me anymore, because I really, really, I can't imagine having to go through what they went through. I was like, every other day, either in jail or ODing on drugs or selling drugs, and they didn't even know half the stuff that happened to me, that I am, it's amazing to me I'm still alive. I consider, and they're what I guess everyone's making fun of online right now is baby boomers. I think my parents are baby boomers, and I think that when like from their generation to my generation, the technology and society and culture and everything just went whew. So I think for them, it must have been so fucking hard to like experience having a kid like me that's just doing all this wild shit. Like they have no idea about any of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, now I have a son who is going to be 13 in a month, and I, as a father and anyone else that's going to be watching this will be able to relate to that. This is one of your biggest fears, that your child is going to go through something like this, and the way that I kind of wrap my head around that and come at it is, and this isn't saying anything bad about my parents at all. They really, really did their best with the tools they had. But like, I had a really hard time with anyone trying to understand what I was going through, and I felt very alienated. Once they figured out the stuff I was doing, I was just treated as if I was just doing something bad. It wasn't about like why I was doing it or like what was going on with me, And I used to get beat up a lot when I was a kid, and like I was always different, and like, I didn't have a lot of friends. And the reason why I started doing drugs was because I listened to bands that I knew did drugs, and for me the music made me feel cool, and I just wanted to be like those people and like start doing that stuff, but I couldn't process that that's why it was happening when I was a kid, But as far as my son goes, I know my son looks up to me, and my son knows that I'm sober, and although he doesn't have a lot of life experience with, he wouldn't have known if I mean, I didn't like do drugs around my son or, but there was a lot of times when he was a kid where I was like, hungover, or like, maybe didn't have like the best energy for a hangout or something, but he knows where I'm at. And, I know that, if I ask him, he would say, I'm never going to do any of that stuff, and I love that he thinks that, but I also recognize that he's going to be a teenager, and he's going to be in situations where
Sure.
where who knows what's going to happen. And the way that I move forward knowing this is I just try to have the best communication with him and have him know that he can always come to me and talk to me about anything, and that I won't get mad at him, because I know that there's going to be some shit happening with, you do stupid shit when you're a kid. You get in trouble. You don't think things through. And, I'm a dad. This is what I signed up for. And the only thing that I can do is just try and lead with love and like be a good example, number one. And number two, be understanding when push comes to shove and I got to help him through some situations. You know what I mean? And I didn't have that.
That's the same thing that I'm telling my son all the time. I always tell him, hey, if you've fucked up something and if you've done something wrong, of course, I'm there to tell you, hey, you shouldn't have done this and that and blah, 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 because I'm your dad. But first of all, before I do that, please come to me. I'm the rock you will always find, like in whatever storm, because if you feel lost because you've done something like really shitty, then I want to be the person you come to, and I'm going to help you. Before I educate you, I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
So and he knows that, he understands it, like, because who should you talk to? Who should you be talking to if you can talk to me?
Yeah.
You can always come to me. I will always help you. And this is so super fucking important to me that he understands that, because I know how it feels like as a kid or as a grown-up person that sometimes you don't know who to turn to, you don't know what to do. And I want him to know that I'm always the person who's there, like always, whatever happens. It sounds like a cliche. It sounds super cheesy, but that's the way it is. I think that's the most important thing of being a parent.
Yeah.
Always be there, always.
I love that. I love the way you just worded that. Now I want to take him out for lunch and like sit and say the same thing that you just said. I love it. Fuck. How has it been for him? Actually, yeah, I want to jump in. Like there's a bunch of questions from some people, and one of the questions was how your son's dealing with the homeschooling. How has it been with like the lockdown and everything? Are you homeschooling him? Do you homeschool him before the lockdown?
Yeah, no. Before, no, of course not. No, dude. I'm the kind of I believe in the kind of education like that kids have to socialize with, by being with other kids. I put my son in the kindergarten for like 2 hours a day when he was 1 year old, just to learn how to deal with other people, because the moment where I realized that as a parent you cannot teach your kids everything was when I got him from kindergarten. He was 2 years old, and they said like, yeah, he's been crying because some older guy like hit him. I was like, yeah, what happened? And they said, yeah, he took like a toy car, a metal toy car, and threw it on the other boy's head, which was like, he was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
So the other boy just hit him.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, he learned something that day, something I could never teach him.
Yeah.
Like, so I come from there. So of course we haven't been homeschooling him before that. And when the whole pandemic thing started, of course, school stopped for a while. Now they have some kind of hybrid thing, like 2 or 3 days a week, blah, blah, blah. And it's changing every day, back and forth, whatever. He's dealing with it quite well because he's that kind of kid. School is super, super easy for him. He's not recognizing that something's happening. He's like, yeah, I have to do the math thing. I'm done. Can I read now? Thanks. So luckily, until now, it might change when he gets older. He's 9 now and turns 10 next month. For now, school is nothing that he finds somehow challenging. So for him, it's just like, I want to see my friends more. Yeah. So that's the only thing.
That's the thing I think that's been fucking with so many people and adults too. Like, I don't know about you. From what I hear, things are really, really strict over there. Right?
Yes.
Like very strict. And I have a lot of friends who have expressed that like they don't know how to hang out with people anymore. Like you get together and it's like, what do we talk about? Because nothing's happening. Yeah, you talk about COVID.
The main problem about like trying to keep an overview about things is Germany is a federal system, like with different kind of a little like United States of America. We also have thing like states, but it's called Bundesland, like land. And we have like 16 of them, and they all come up with their own rules about like Corona stuff, about lockdowns, and you can't go out at night, and you just are allowed to meet one person or two or three, and it changes like daily, and it changes in all the states. And I just lost track, man. I understand why things have to be that way, blah blah blah. I'm not one of the people like saying the Earth is flat and there's no Corona, blah blah. But it's just like it's a mess, and I must confess I started listening to it, so I'm just trying to do what I think is right, the best I can, and if I need to know something, I look it up. That's the only thing I can do.
Yeah. Have you gotten the sickness?
No, I mean maybe, I don't know. I haven't. There's this kind of anti-gene test, or how it's called, so you know how if you had it or not. Because on the last tour, like the European tour, which we had in early 2020, January, February, at the end of the tour in London, I got very, very, very sick, and I was with my lung, and I had like high fever, and this was like I was really sick. And now I think like maybe I already had that, and I don't even know.
I was on tour at the same time, and everyone got that same sickness right before all this happened, and I was sure I had it, and I got that test, and they said I didn't have those antibodies.
Okay, I have to do that test. What's the English word? Is it antigen test?
Antigen, I think. Antigen. And it tests for antibodies. And like you guys are. I was very eager to get this vaccine over with, and I guess you guys don't have access to them so readily.
No, it's like they get old people first. Like my father, he's over 80. He already have like the 2 vaccines. My mother has 1, and now they kind of open it for a second kind of vaccine, which we have here. They opened it for everyone that wants it, so you can go to a doctor. But this is actually, it's different in every land in Germany as well. So I'm like, hey, I'm healthy. I just let some people
go before you,
who really need that, because I don't have any kind of health issues, not as far as I know, luckily. So, but I'm gonna do it as soon as I can, and as soon as I think I'm not taking something away from someone who needs it more than me.
Yeah, once they were kind of becoming available, I went and I was like, I'm not going to be eligible for this now, but I better get on a list so that like whenever I'm eligible, I can get it quicker, because I've been under the impression that I'll be able to travel and work sooner if I have it, right? So I filled out this questionnaire, and one of the questions was like if I have a number of these different things, and I said yes to 2 of them, and it turns out that this whole time I was in great danger of dying, and I didn't even know.
Oh, so, crazy!
Yeah, so I was able to get in pretty quick. Actually, it wasn't so easy. I was on like 20 different lists, and you have to wait like for.
So you have it already?
Or? I had it. Yeah, I had it. Yeah. Right. I got the Johnson & Johnson one that they just like halted, and now they started again.
We don't have that one in Germany. We have 2 other different kinds.
Yeah. But mine was 1 shot, and then I got really sick for a day, and then it was away. But it felt like it was like the whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to get into the politics or like whatever. I mean, there's a million different theories about what's really happening here. But all I'll say is like the day that I went and waited in line for the shot was like I cried, because it was so overwhelming, the feeling that this could soon be behind us and we could be moving on,
Okay, just to try to unprove one of the conspiracy theories. If you wake up in the morning, do you hear a Windows sound or not?
No.
Okay. Then it's proven you're not chipped, so you see.
I used to get all into those conspiracy theories. I wasn't one of the people that was like running around telling them to everyone else, but like I would read about them and I'd be like, this makes a lot of sense, and I'd be thinking about it a lot, and I just had to stop. Because I was feeling so negative, and I don't focus on that stuff anymore. Now I'm just
if you have a lot of time, and if you're at home, and if you're a musician, you can't go on tour, and you need something to wrap your head around. Those conspiracy theories for some out there are very highly welcomed. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
see. It's funny. Like many colleagues of me, and it's not the musicians which are actually struggling. Many of them are like turning into this thing and telling me like, hey, now it's all great, you know what, whatever, and the earth is flat and whatever. And the funny thing is, all the musicians that actually have to struggle, they have to work to earn money and do stuff, they don't have that because they have real problems. All the musicians which are like, you know, they have money, they can like survive 20 years without earning money. They all get into that. And that is, it's pretty funny.
Dude, how crazy, how, like, it's, the one thing that I'll say about all this is I felt like I achieved a lot. I'm in a good position. I get to tour around the world all the time, do what I love to do. And all of a sudden this happens. And now I feel like I have no job security. You know what I mean? Like I feel so vulnerable. Like at any time it could be like, oh, this is happening now. You can't do that anymore. And that's the worst feeling ever. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Go ahead.
No. You.
I like to ask this question to my friends who tour a lot. Is like, can you imagine what if like someone came up to you on the last show you ever did right before the show and like whispered in your ear, like, just so you know, this is going to be the last show you play in a really long time and the world's about to change. Like, can you imagine like if you knew that this was going to happen? Like what your day would be like at your last show? Like how differently you might have like taken that all in or like savored every fucking moment of like what we do, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't have believed that. And I must say, for me, this last show that I played is a very special show in the most negative way because I got very sick on that tour and I was sick for 2 days already. And then at this concert in London, I had like a fever of 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know which it is in Fahrenheit, like very, very high, like short before it's getting dangerous. And my lung was hurting and my head was hurting. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stand. It was like I was like feeling dizzy and I was still going on stage. And I survived for 3 songs. And during the 3rd song, I realized if I tried to play another song, I couldn't even get a high note here. I couldn't scream. And I was like, if I play a 3rd song, I'm just going to faint. So I had to stand there in this huge fucking venue and tell people, hey, I tried my best, but I need to quit the show now. It was the first time in my whole life after around 1,000 concerts with like 7-8 bands, which I had in my life, where I had to quit the show by like during the show being on stage.
Yeah.
So this was the fucking last show I played. And for now, I'm like, sometimes I feel like traumatized because I need to get out of that circle by playing one successful show.
I know.
To
get the chance
to prove myself I can still do it. So I have nightmares of that song called Drag Me to Hell, where I have like to go very, very high. I have nightmares about like not hitting that note.
Yeah.
I have that a lot. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking me up, man. I need to play just one fucking show to prove myself.
I know this. I also had a couple of shows. I played at one time at Madison Square Garden, which is like a legendary, obviously venue, and the lights fucking broke in the first song, and we played in the dark for 2 songs, and I still have nightmares about that.
Oh, dude,
like
I just the Rammstein's part thing?
Yeah, I just hope I get to play there again one day, and the lights will work the whole show, so that I don't have to have that dream anymore. You know, it's like the Naked in High School in front of everyone dream.
Yeah.
So
and I can't get it out of my system. It's still there. I just need to play this one show. So yeah.
And you guys are getting ready to do a live stream show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
But that's different. We already did 2 live stream shows, very successful, and we're gonna do another one because we're gonna put out a new record, like a real loud rock record. Like people are waiting for that for 3 years now. It's gonna come in early July, and on July 3rd we're gonna do that live stream show. And but it's different. I know I can do it, but I need to be in front. I need to be on a stage in front of people.
I know,
like in front of real people, to have this. And yeah.
I haven't had
So
the chance to do. I did a live stream with a friend's band who's like local, but it's not like my band. You know what I mean? And all the people I play in bands with live all over Europe, so I haven't had a chance to do one of these live streams. But I've been trying to support other people's live streams and watch. Like last night, I saw Corey Taylor from Slipknot he's like doing his solo project now, and he was one of the first people to do one. You know, it was like a big one. You know what I mean? And I've been watching him, and I've just been trying to wrap my head around like what it must be like. So I want to ask you, because it's like, you know, if you were to sit down with the band and it's like, well, it's time for us to start writing a new record now. This is going to be like the new thing, and we're going to have a campaign and everything. One of those talks might be, let's make a live DVD or a DVD of us playing a show. And this is different. This is an approach the same way you would do that, like before all this. This is more of a, let's play a show without an audience and film it quick as possible.
Of course.
So,
of course.
So what's your experience like? Like, do you wish you had more time to like go over like more production and like edit it more? And do you feel like more rushed to like just put it out there to get the content out there? Like, what's going on with that?
No, I really don't think about that. It's more like trying to, for me, the most important thing is to be able to get into the real life mood. And there's like two things which are super weird. First thing is like, there's no PA. There's no like huge bass speakers which give you, you know, that energy. So we're playing with in-ear like for many years, but still there's a PA for the people, you know, so you have that energy in the room. When we're doing that stream thing, that does not, it's not necessary that there is a PA.
Yeah, so but can't you have it anyway, or would it fuck with the sound?
Yeah, I can, but the problem is then it's very loud in the room and it's going to be on my vocal mic, and then when it's streamed because of the quality, blah, blah, blah. If you're live in the audience, it doesn't matter, but having it streamed, not so good. So that's weird. So you don't really have that energy. And the second thing is, you play a song and it's all sweaty and lights and fog and strobo light, and so there could be an audience, you know, you can kind of imagine it, because on stage sometimes you don't see anything but lights at all. You know that. And then the song stops, and then you're like, okay. And I listen to myself like, hey, thank you. I hear myself with like some kind of delay on the voice. Thank you. Yeah. And that's so weird. You know, when I close my eyes and I'm in the music and I forget about the PA thing, it really feels like being on stage. It's like a rehearsal with makeup and nice lights and a lot of fog. But then, and it's so awkward because, you know, I don't have a problem with like being myself, and I don't need people to tell me, you're so cool, Chris, all the time. I don't need that. But if you play a song, you don't get any reaction, and then you say something to people out there, like everywhere on the internet, and then there's no face to look into, no reaction, just like cameraman.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you don't know what to say, and you make a weird joke, and then silence. So that's really weird. But, you know, I must say, we got so, except for you know, like the 3-4 people that hate everything you do, we had so many nice reactions. We know that we like made so many people happy, and at the same time we had a chance to earn money to kind of make up for that lost festival summer of last year. We were supposed to play the stadium tour together with Iron fucking Maiden, and we couldn't do that. And so it kind of made up to that just a little, because it made us survive things.
So this is an amazing opportunity, this Iron Maiden tour. I cannot imagine what it must feel. I feel so bad for you to get this opportunity and then to just have a fucking can't do that now, and then like, oh, and maybe we're gonna do it, and then to take it away again. Oh.
Yeah, they you know, we were supposed to do that in 2020, then they delayed it to postpone it to 2021, and now they postpone it again to 2022. And each time they were on the brink of postponing it, we were like, I hope that they will be taking us with them again when they have to postpone it. So I'm like, if they have to postpone it from 22 to 23, there's another chance that they say, sorry guys, we can't take you with us.
Yeah.
So you never know, you know, because this was like, I remember, I will never forget this, because Iron Maiden is the kind of band you can't like go there like, hey, can we be your support band? They're like, yeah, maybe you send us an email and then we check. They just choosing bands. They're like, we like this band, we like this band. So I'm sitting in the studio and I got a phone call from my booking agent. He's like, hey, Chris, are you sitting down? I said, like, yeah, I'm sitting. He was like, okay, I just got a call from this one booker guy. It's like, yeah, I don't know him. He was like, yeah, he's booking bands like Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Iron Maiden and stuff. I was like, yeah, so what do you want? Yeah, Iron Maiden just asked for Lord of Lost to be the support band on tour. It's like, dude, what? Is there like is there like cameras somewhere and I don't see them, or like, yeah.
Wow.
It's just fucking crazy. I will never forget that. Then a couple of months later, some fans from the UK and other countries sent us like screenshots from interviews with Steve Harris, the bass player of Iron Maiden, from screenshots from interviews which he did with like Metal Hammer and other magazines, where he's talking about us, like that he found us and he likes us and he decided to take us into all of them. And we're like, what the fuck, dude? So I cut out these things and put them in a frame and put them on my wall in my home, you know, like these interviews with Steve Harris. So.
That's so awesome. Do they So you're still on the tour for now?
Yes, we are.
We're all
for 2022.
We're all crossing all our fingers and toes that it'll go through. I'm sure it's going to happen.
Thank you.
Did they invite you on the plane?
No. Not yet. I will just ask them to fucking invite me.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was the first time I toured with Rammstein, I didn't know that they had a plane, and then one day I was like, "You have a plane?" And Richard was like, "What? You want to go on the plane?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to go on the plane." But they had a tiny plane, and yeah, I still tour with them now. I get to go on the plane all the time. But this is amazing for those people that do not know. Bruce Dickinson, who is the singer of Iron Maiden, flies commercial airline planes, these giant fucking planes, and when Iron Maiden goes on tour, he's flying the whole fucking tour everywhere with all the gear. I think in there and everything.
It's not like he's flying a private jet. He's flying one of these 747. I don't know, the fucking big ones.
Yeah.
The Ed Force One is just fucking huge. It's crazy. Like, imagine you're a singer in the band, you're flying that fucking huge plane. It's just.
When does he sleep?
I don't know. I think he's a machine or something. I'm really looking forward of getting to know him. And the first thing I did after this tour was announced, I was like, I need to know more of this band. So I bought a book about Iron Maiden and I bought the Bruce Dickinson biography and started reading that. So I'm like really in the topic, like, because I needed to feel, I felt the responsibility of like, I need to know everything about them, everything what you can actually possibly find out. I want to know it. So yeah.
I've had 2 run-ins with that dude in my life. One was on the very first tour I ever did, and the second was actually on the very last tour I ever did. The first tour I ever did was with this band Amen, and we were playing festivals with the tour was with a New York hardcore band called Sick of It All, and another band called
I know it.
So I think it was them, and then we were doing the festival circuit that summer, and Iron Maiden was like the main band at a lot of the festivals. And the first festival I ever played, I think it was with Full Force in Germany, and I went into the bathroom in the backstage, which was like a fucking a trailer with a bunch of urinals, and I'm peeing, and this dude walks in and stands next to me, and he's like, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Good day, mate," and I'm like, "Hey, man,"
mate.
And it was fucking Bruce Dickinson, and he's like really short, and then he he left, and I was just like, I just fucking peed with Bruce Dickinson. How cool is that? And then and then on the last tour that we did, we were opening for Lindemann, and we were in Paris, and this guy we just got off stage, and it was one of those places where we had to like pack up everything really quick, so that there was only 10 minutes in between our last song and the beginning of Lindemann. So we had to like clear the stage and pack up, and we had to get everything out of the way. So we were always like rushing and doing it. And this dude walks by with a coat and a hat, and he's like, "A theremin? who's this? And I'm like, oh, that's my keyboard players. And he's like, is he really playing it on stage? I'm like, yeah, he is. He actually. And he's like, where is he? You know, keyboard players usually they don't play these things. They don't. We all know keyboard players. I'm like, yeah, I know. Haha. He's joking around. And he was like, all right, see you later. And he walks away. And I'm like, that was fucking Bruce Dickinson. And then I went and told Elliot, I'm like, you gotta come meet him. But we couldn't find him.
That's actually a very interesting insight because Jared. On stage, sometimes he plays the theremin as well. So I will totally tell him to take the theremin on tour with Iron Maiden. So we will reintegrate that in our live set. We have to do that totally because that could be the icebreaker.
You know, dude, I'm just gonna put this out there right now. You know, this is how my brain thinks. He needs to like fucking learn how to play like the Number of the Beast or something and show them. Next thing you know, he's gonna be invited on stage during fucking Iron Maiden. And you know, that's gotta be.
I'm so gonna tell him. Yeah, I mean, if someone can learn to play fucking anything, like everything, Jared, he has perfect pitch. He just listens to something, and it's being saved in his brain like MIDI score, and he can just like pull it out wherever he is. So, yeah,
he's that guy.
Totally do that.
He's that guy in the band. He's been there. He's like your ride or die, huh?
Yeah, totally.
He's been there ever since the beginning, right?
Yeah, like 1 year after or something. But it's like it's from the beginning. We played like I don't know, maybe 10 shows without him or something. But it doesn't really matter. So yeah,
I love that. I feel like every band has that like main duo people in the band.
Yeah, he's like Jared is. You know, he's the person that actually plays every instrument because actually he's a drummer. Mm-hmm. Like he learned like play the jazz drums and stuff. Then he learned like piano. Then he's a classical musician as well. He has perfect pitch. He can play like fucking every instrument. He can play it better than any one of us. And it's like it's just unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable.
And he's a very good looking guy as well.
And he's got a very tiny but very beautiful penis. It's yeah.
So all right, I got to ask some of these questions because everyone's going to kick my ass.
Yeah. Sorry.
By the way, like you got the most questions of any guest that I've had on here so far, so get ready.
Oh, damn.
So are you ready? Oh, so Eugenio is one of the people that asked a lot of questions, and Eugenio is a really interesting friend of mine. He's a fan that I became very close with, who's become a very good friend of mine, and actually, he was at the London show of my last tour, Lindemann show. He's from Italy, and he started telling me about COVID, and he's like, "Yeah, I think everything's gonna get fucked up." And I'm like, "This doesn't make sense, man." And then like Italy was the first place that like closed down, and he was telling me, and so I was basing the whole like situation on. I felt like they were like 2 weeks ahead of everywhere else. So I was like, all right, what's happening now? Are you guys open back up? Everyone getting better yet? Like, so anyway, yeah. So he asked about the new album. I guess if you guys are writing a new album, and if so, what to expect?
Yes, we have started writing a new album last year in June. We made like a genuine songwriting camp for 1 week. The band and our live crew and 2-3 guys in my studio crew. Like, you know, Lord of Lost Behind the Curtain is more than just us 5. It's like people, brothers, friends working together. And we met there and wrote an entire double album of 24 songs within 1 week. And then we started recording it. And then we said, okay, we have Corona stuff going on. We have more time than usual. So this time we're going to do it like for real. If we want to have a church organ, we're going to record it in a church. If we want to have like a grand piano with like a large reverb, we're going to find a place with a large reverb and play it. If we want to have huge fucking drum reverb, we're not going to use any plugins. We're going to sample the whole drum kit in a car park and other huge places, take samples and then re-trigger them with the final drums in the end that we're going to play in the studio. Mm-hmm. If we want a church choir, we will find people to sing that choir for us. If we want to have real strings, let's fucking fly to Bulgaria. It's a little cheaper and get strings there. So this is what we did. We made like an ethereal sounding, but at the same time hard and very moody concept album about one special topic, which I can't name right now because it's going to be revealed in a couple of days when the pre-sale starts. So this is like, this was 9 months of adventure of redefining our rock sound into something huge and inspiring by doing it the real way. We only use synthesizers or electronic stuff for things that actually are meant to sound electronic, but we did not use it to create a sound that sounds like a piano. It's a real piano, you know. This is the way we did it, and it was amazing. If you work with a church choir who does all the backing vocals for you, you can only be there like as the one singer in the middle of that magic kind of wall of sound. It's just amazing. So this is what we did.
Wow. I feel like this is going to be your opus. This is going to be like the Fragile for you guys.
Maybe, hopefully. And it's a double album. From the beginning, we're like, let's do a double album. It's going to be the 7th album. Let's do an album with like a brighter and the darker side. Nothing new, yawn, I know, but let's do that. This is going to be our, the Fragile, maybe. So, of course, we can't compete with the Fragile, but it's going to be the Fragile.
I love it.
Yeah.
And how has it been to like repurpose, he also asked this, like the older songs for the sort of symphonic things that you do?
Oh, this is just super interesting. Like rearranged songs, you know. So actually, like each song you can break down very easily into 3 parts. First part is like rhythm. Second part is harmonies. Third part is melody. So, and actually it's super simple. You just have to pick those like Lego stones, you know, just rearrange them. Like, okay, guitars are playing like the basic notes together with the bass. So we give this to the violoncello and the double bass and stuff. Then we split up the drums for like 3 percussion drummers, like for different kind of elements. Then all the harmonies are be done by the violins and blah, blah. It's actually just picking stuff and putting it to a different place. And, you know, everyone in the band is like a classical educated musician. We can read and write score. I also work in my studio. I also compose film score stuff. And so this is, in a way, it's daily business for us to do that. And you know what I always say, if a song works with acoustic guitar and voice only, or piano and voice only, it works in any kind of genre. I came to this conclusion when I first saw Lady Gaga on some kind of unplugged show in her early days at a New York radio station, a YouTube video playing her songs just by piano and vocals. This is when I fell in love with her, because I just hated her in the beginning, like, oh, another plastic kind of music project. And I realized if a song works like that, it works in every kind of genre. So for this record, we tried to write songs that way. Let's find a song that works with one instrument and voice only, and then pump it up. And it's the same thing we do with like our classical stuff. We reduce the metal thing to the basic parts and then just put them to another place. It's that simple. Of course, you need to know your business, you know. But if you know that, it's actually just rearranging stuff.
It's very inspiring that you challenge yourselves like this and like to reinventing your sound even. Wow.
We have to. It's like for us, you know, I have always been the biggest fan of bands that always try to come up with something new. This is why I loved Marilyn Manson back then so much. Like every album of him was like a new world to explore, a new sound, new visuals. Mm-hmm. Every music video was like, you got to know this character again and again. I fucking loved that. And very early when I started making like rock music and bands, I was like, I want the same thing. I don't want to be that band with the same sound all over and over again. I want people to go like, this, what the fuck? This is Chris? Really? He looked so different last time. Wow. And this is why from the beginning, I was like hooked by you, because I always looked at you and you always looked different with all these makeups. And I just fucking loved that. That's why I'm in love with your good friend Wes Ballin so much.
Yeah, as am I.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this. I feel exactly the same way about all the early Manson stuff, and that was why he was one of my favorite bands, and why I was so inspired by that, and I continue to this day. I think there's like a big gap in the way people are seeing live music and people putting out records now compared to when we were kids. I don't know if it's because record labels don't dump money into bands anymore because they're not making money because of streams or whatever, but I just feel like everything's so cookie cutter now. People don't take the time and the energy to reinvent themselves and to try and do things that are interesting and uncomfortable and to challenge people's senses. And this is fucking awesome that you're doing that. It's just
Thank
awesome.
you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
So that pretty much sums it up for Eugenio, but now I have a couple more people. So this one is kind of a passing comment, but I don't want it to go ignored. And it's by someone. Hi, I'm just gonna read it. This is by someone that names themselves Ionica Churka, and they say, Chris Harms is my favorite musician. I really appreciate him for all his creations. To thank him, I created some songs dedicated to him. I want you to ask him if he's listened to these songs and if he's listened to what he thinks about them. I want to remind you that I have no experience in the music field. It is simply a chaotic string of sounds. Do you know about what this is or no?
I don't know what this is, but I recognize her by the name of like many comments, and if she wants us to listen to stuff, she can just go to our website, to lordofthelost.de, and there's like a management contact. Send these things by mail, and our management will make us see them or listen to them. So
cool. Okay, well there you have it. And like now you're gonna have like a million emails after this. And now I have a bunch from someone called Sexual Harassment Panda. Do you know that name too?
No, but this is related to one South Park episode.
Oh, okay. Oh, perfect.
There's like a South Park episode about like useless mascots. So the boys are coming into the theme park, and there's like only useless mascots. Like, I'm the don't look into the sun worm, like, and there's a sexual harassment panda, and he's always saying like, hey, you shouldn't touch kids. I'm gonna tell you that because I'm the sexual harassment panda. It's like, so I needed to laugh a lot because it's so fucking funny. I love South Park that much. So yeah,
I love that you knew what it was. So yeah. He or she asked, what has been the silver lining of not touring?
So what? Rewinding?
What has been the silver lining? Like what are you grateful for?
The silver. I must say, I love touring, but I hate traveling.
Really?
I don't like to fly. I don't like to, I'm the kind of person, when I'm home, I just stay home. I don't go out.
Oh my God, too.
So I like being home. And I think the best thing for me was like, I never spent so much time alongside my son.
Same for me.
Like
yeah.
I took him to school like every day. And I haven't been away for weeks. So I didn't have to look into the sad eyes of saying, I'm going to be back in a week. So that was the silver lining.
Yeah.
And I totally embraced that. And this is, in a way, I'm thankful for it in a weird way, because it's things you can't compare, it's apples and oranges. So, but of course, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think like when everything opens back up, we're all going to be like a little extra busy for a little while just to kind of play and catch up. And I feel that the time I've had with my son in this time has strengthened our bond like times a million of anything that we've had before, because I've always been away so much, and I think it's so important. I'm so thankful I had this just before he's going to become a teenager. So I hope he's like.
And another thing, short before this thing happened, and we were on this European tour in early 2020, and I was like, for 1 year already, I was on the verge of saying, I need a break. I need a break from being active as a musician, not because I want to quit, just because I want to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
So to be able to keep on doing it, to not have like a breakdown, or what's the word for it? Like if you're like super stressed, and what's the fucking word for
it? Like
a
meltdown.
yeah, meltdown, whatever. Like I said, like maybe I need a break, and yeah, fate kind of gave me a break.
Yeah,
So
I didn't
you
think of
know,
that too. I feel the same way. I was really fucking running on fumes.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, what happened to the kitten? Did you find a home, and how did you find the kitten? Did you have a kitten?
Yeah, we didn't really find it. Yeah, I was like a couple of weeks ago. I was posting some pictures of a kitten, and sometimes um, sometimes we take like animals at home, which are looking for a new home, like animals from friends or which are found on the streets or birds that fall out of the nest, and well, we always find new homes for them. So yeah, that kitten has a new home now, and it's the story how we found the kitten. It's not even interesting, so I'm not going to tell it. But yeah, you can be assured the kitten is now a very happy cat.
So maybe someone can make like some kind of art about this kitten and create a story around it, which brings me to their next question. What do you what do you think what do you make of the I don't even know what this word is. Yaoi slash gay erotic fan fiction and stories that your fans create. Are you flattered or confused about it? I just want to put this out there and say before you even answer this that I am jealous that you have fans that create this for you. Just putting that out there for everyone. But go on. Now you answer.
Um, there's like meanwhile it's like thousands of fan fiction stories out there, and I tried to read these ones and I can't. Not because it's like gay content between me and mostly band members, because I have like zero problems with gay stuff. Everyone out there knows this, but it's just if you read something about yourself, like and Jared, like I read something about me and Jared, and then it says like, and I don't have the English word for that because it's easier in German, but it's things like, and after intense making love from behind, he kind of squirted all his love juice inside the keyboardist, which was screaming in the pain of salvation of orgasmic blah blah blah. And then you're like, dude, this is my fucking keyboarder. I don't want to read how I fucking come into his asshole, no matter how no matter how much poetry you kind of put in, like finding the right artistic words for it. It's like, wow. So I'm like, okay, it's called fan fiction, so it should stay a fan thing. And I'm like, I feel flattered and I find it very entertaining. I find it very entertaining. I find the fact very entertaining, but I really do not want to read that. So that's just too much for me. I don't want to see myself. I don't even see myself as a rock star. People, our fans make me a rock star, and I'm thankful to that. But for me, I'm just like the guy that plays in a band. So I don't want to be made a gay porn star. That's not me.
All right. Well, if anyone wants any feedback on this art, you can send it to me and I'll talk to you about it. I'll read all
Yeah,
that stuff.
thanks,
I'll enjoy
thanks,
it.
thanks, thanks. But it's really funny, and really for you guys out there, no offense. I love that you're doing that, but please excuse me that I don't want to read that. It's just too much for me. Yeah.
Okay, if you could choose one celebrity, dead or alive, to join Lord of the Lost, who would it be and why?
Okay, first of all, I need to tell you, or the person who asked the thing, one thing about me. I am the last person who is really able to answer any kind of what's your favorite this or that question. So I'm really bad in answering something like if you choose one, two, three, because it's all momentary. I tell you this right now, I tell you a different thing tomorrow. And right now, and I'm not lying, I'm not trying to flatter you, Joe, but right now I'm going to choose you because having a band with you would be.
Do you see that cactus back there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make believe that that's my penis, and it feels nice to hear that. Whoa, go on.
No, it's like like playing together with you in a band. This would be just fucking killer. And I promise you, if Corona and the flying situation lets us in, and if we if you have time. If our drummer Nick is breaking a leg, then you'd be the first to call.
Do you know, have you ever heard of Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding?
No, but it sounds like a nice porn title.
Well, when I was growing up in the 90s, I'll say there was this Olympic figure skater who was poised to take the Olympic trophy, and Tanya Harding came in and had her boyfriend hire someone to break Nancy Kerrigan's leg.
Oh, fucking hell.
So you tell Nicholas to watch out now.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But the best.
No,
but I would love to play in your band. But the coolest thing about that fact and that sentiment and statement you just made is that we can do the best of both worlds and play in each other's bands together on tour, and then maybe even like play songs together.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the best thing ever.
I want to tell something to the people out there. If we can make it happen to have Lord of Lost and Aesthetic Perfection on one tour, Joey's and my plan, because we came up with that plan, was not to do the typical thing like, hey, one thing starts and then the other band plays. We want to do a thing like having kind of both bands on stage, a little more like a rumble at wrestling, you know, like one band plays the other, then both bands together, and then things get mixed up and blah blah blah, going back and forth. We don't know if that's possible because it's like tech wise, it's like thousands of channels of instruments and blah blah blah, and the stages have to be big enough. But if we can make that work, this would be our dream concept about the tour.
Yes, this is what we were talking about. Yeah, I love it. I did something with Combi Christ that was that I thought was really cool, where we did like an evolution tour, and you know the band started with just Andy and a keyboarder, and then it ended like where we were at in the time with like a full band. So we brought all those old people on tour with us, and we started as the two-piece, did 2 songs like that, and then slowly all the people were coming. And I feel like if we did something like that and like intertwined our songs together and like made it like looked at it more like a production or like a play almost. Fuck, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I have this thing in my head, like one band plays and then there's kind of like a breakdown moment, is like only me and Jared playing the piano, like playing a ballad, and then the light goes out and Jared's playing the piano, and then there's suddenly Daniel starting singing, so kind of taking over, and then the rest of you guys come, then you play a song, and then you need, I don't know, like more guitarists, so our guitar players coming in and playing and blah blah blah, you know, doing something like this.
Dude, I just got goosebumps. Yeah. We're gonna make it happen. Yeah. We're gonna make it
hopefully
happen. Oh my god, dude. One last thing I can't forget is my homie Ace, dude. He is a very big fan, and he does these covers of The Lost. Have you ever seen this?
Yes, I've seen some things of him. Also, this outtake thing that he posted is super fucking funny. I love it,
dude. He's one of the best dudes ever, and I get the biggest kick out of people playing. Like I get I'm so besides myself that I inspire people to like play my songs and like send me videos of it and stuff like that.
It's crazy, right?
Dude, you know it would be cool maybe if I'm not going to say that you should do this, but maybe someone should do this. Someone should like, how cool would it be to like let fans play songs and like send them, and then like you could like maybe they'll win and you can like put a song out on Instagram with like everyone playing with their video. You know what I mean? Do people do that?
We did that.
You did?
We when the Corona thing started, we did some kind of lockdown versions of our songs, you know, split screen stuff.
I saw that.
We just recorded with like shitty microphones and telephones. And in the end, for like, I don't know, 2-3 videos, we asked fans like, hey, you want to be part of it? And please send us your demo. And then we took like people sometimes with super exotic instruments, like a classical harp, and like integrated them and let them send us the material. Then we kind of stopped because we had to write our album, so we didn't have time for the split screen stuff, but we did it for like 2, 3, or 4 songs, and it's fucking amazing. And I want to do the same kind of thing in the future when we have time again, to try to network more with people, because you know what I don't like about some bands out there, they also kind of do this 2-class thing, like it's bands and it's fans. Like if it would be something different, but it's not. You know, I'm a fan of so many bands, and I'm also in a band. There's no fucking difference.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, these kind of person, you know, these kind of colleagues I'm talking about. Some are real like, hey, this is just fans. This is so fucked up, man. So I want to try to find a way to kind of integrate them all. We already did that somehow on our upcoming record. There's a song, and like half a year ago, we put out like from the demo version, like a little 8-bar snippet of it in a loop on a YouTube video, and told people, get a microphone or just your mobile phone, put in your headphones, and then like fucking scream just no, this thing like for a gang shout choir. Send us the file, send us your name you want in the booklet. And cool. Now we have like a song with like 387 people singing on that song, having their name very tiny in like the tiniest font size in the booklet, and singing with us on that record. So
that's so great. Fucking cool. You got to send me these videos that you did with the exotic instruments and the fans.
Yeah, well, there's so many things that I will. We're here on an island now in Germany. Like it's the most northern point in Germany, an island called Sylt. And we're working in a little studio here, rehearsing for a stream in summer to already like get prepared, because we never played the songs live. So now for the first time we're playing them together as a band, because the songs like grew in the studio. And when I go home tomorrow, I'm going to send you some stuff, and I'm going to also send you a link of a couple of new songs and videos, because I really like to hear your opinion about it before it's actually out there.
I would love that. So, I'd be honored. Fuck, man. Dude, one thing before we go. I keep forgetting to ask you about this. What was the song that you guys filmed? It's one of my favorite songs. Is it the La Bamba song? Did you film that in like that bathhouse?
Yeah, it's La Bomba, and it's like it was an empty bathhouse thing in Berlin, like an old bathhouse thing from the 20s or even earlier, and it's one of the transvestites and stuff, and the cheerleaders, and
I've been there. Till
oh, really?
Yeah, Till Lindemann had his 50th birthday party there, and he flew
great. They kind of rent. You can kind of rent the place for different occasions. Yeah, I totally get it why he's booking that place. It's beautiful. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it was very dark. It was a funny night, because there was hundreds of people there, and you couldn't even see him. He was like in a little room alone with his mom up. So I went and said hi to him, but like he didn't want to see anyone. He just had like a cardboard cutout. Everyone was laughing because they went to his birthday party, and they just took a picture with this cardboard thing. But one thing I wanted to ask you about, the real reason why I brought this up, was because I wanted to know your thoughts on this meat. This is a very German meat thing. This is actually, this raw meat. And this is a very famous photo of Justin Bieber in raw meat form. But it was actually, this photo was taken at Till's birthday party. He wanted every plate of raw meat to look like Justin Bieber. And when asked about it, he was like, I just want to fucking eat Justin Bieber, which was really fucking weird. But yeah, and do you enjoy eating this raw meat?
I stopped eating meat for quite a while now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to. Sorry. No. I'm not like, when I stopped doing drugs 20 years ago, when I stopped drinking alcohol 3 years ago, I stopped eating meat like 1 year ago. It's not like, I'm not the kind of person like, hey, blah, 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 I'm so much better now. And, I fucking hate that. So it's kind of funny, but even before that, I didn't really like to eat that kind of meat. It was weird to me.
It is weird.
I fucking love the picture, and it reminds me of these drum skins which you can buy for your tom drums with Justin Bieber faces on.
Can you really do that?
Yeah, you can. We did one with like. I need to send you a link to that as well. A couple of years ago, we did some drum playthroughs with Nick in the studio, also with like a Top Shot GoPro cam, and we had like this Donald Trump snap, and so he's hitting the Trump face like all the time. It's so super fucking funny. So,
awesome.
But yeah, it looks like a nice birthday cake, and
it's a birthday cake, a meat cake.
I never met Till personally, but for like everything I heard about him and his kind of weird fetish stuff, it totally fits.
Yeah, he's one of the best dudes ever. I'll introduce you to him one day for sure.
Yeah, it's super great. I love it.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man. It was so good hanging out with you.
Yeah, it was. Thank you for inviting me. And please let me know when this is online for everyone. So we will post that on our pages as well, because
Awesome.
people will love to see it.
Awesome. I'm gonna make it public shortly, and it'll render for about an hour probably, and then I'll let you know when it's available, and then you can let people know.
Thank you very much.
Dude, I love you so much. You're so handsome. Thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, Tito. Bye.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy.
Bye, Joe. Yeah, bye.
All right, everybody. What'd you guys think? Here I am. I'm all alone now. That was fun, huh? That was the longest one so far. I think it beat the other longest one by about 15 minutes. So thanks, guys, for hanging out. Preparing for these and executing them does take a lot out of me, so I'm going to go and smash my face into a wall and go to sleep, I think. But yeah, soon enough I'm going to have the announcement of who's going to be on for next month. I'm very fucking excited about it. A couple of people who are in the higher tiers already know who it is. Super geeky moment for me. And it's someone that I just like can't wait to share my interaction with you guys. So I look forward to that. I'll let you guys know about that soon. There's a lot of new people in here who just signed up for this podcast, I know. And maybe you unjoin once it's over, but if you stick around, you're welcome to stick around, be part of the community, and throw some vibes back and forth, get to know me, I get to know you. I'd really love if you guys would consider to stick around. And the more the merrier. Tell your friends, and and also let me know who you guys would like to see me have on. I do have a running list of all the people I plan to ask eventually, but maybe there's some people who I'm not thinking of that you guys want to tell me about. What up, Dom? I think you're new. It was nice having you here. Hope you stick around. Ace, got you in there at the end. Fuck yeah, guys. I love you all so much. And I think that pretty soon this is going to be over and we're going to be fucking hanging out in real life, partying together. So just hold on. We're in the final stretch. I can feel it. See you guys soon.